We so connected with each other, in love with one another, that we can't stop. You got me feeling for your touch.
So I am coming to you guys with another video, and as you can tell by the title of this video, this is going to be me talking to you guys about so my first background will be back in a few, but anyways, I was getting ready to say, I think I've made several videos like this, but I have been doing a lot more soul searching and a lot more research on anxiety, and I see that a lot of people actually suffer from anxiety more than we actually know, and it's not really being talked about that much, you know, especially from those who are actually going through it. And for someone like myself has been going through it for the past 12 years, it has had its ups and its downs, but it's definitely something you can deal with, cope with, and get over and past. I don't want to say over, because I hate when people tell me just get over it. No, even for those that's going through it, but it's for those who haven't went through it, or you know somebody who's going through it. So I'm just going to give you guys some of my tips as to how you can help somebody that's going through it, and for those who are. So if you guys are interested in watching this video, then stay tuned, and don't forget to like and share this video so we may help other people, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Okay, so as I told you guys, I have been dealing with anxiety for the past 12 years. The first time that I went through it was prior to me actually knowing what was happening to me, but I just didn't know it was the beginning of it. Whenever I would drive, I would get the dry mouth, but I would just chop it up to, I was a smoker, so I would chop it up to just being dry mouth because I smoked or whatever. Fatal time that it happened to me, I was on my way to see my friend that was an hour away from where I lived, and it happened to me going over a bridge, and I did not know what it was, but I felt like my life was flashing before my eyes. I felt like it was the end of my life, and I pulled over, I called a friend, I cried my eyes out. So I'm recording in the bathroom just in case you guys want to know why I had to move so quickly. Someone had to use the restroom. But anyways, so as I was saying, I was traveling to see a friend, and it happened to me, and it took me literally 2 hours to get home once I decided to leave from where she was, because when she came and got me, everything was fine, everything was okay, but when it was time for me to go home, it hit me again, and so I then knew or felt like it was the bridge that did it. So anytime I came to a bridge, I would panic. So anyways, it took me 2 hours to get home. So when I got home, I just cleared it out of my mind. I don't know what that was, but it can't happen no more. So anyways, the next day I had to go to work, and I was at the stoplight across the street from my job. I was the first car in line, and I remember just sitting there, and I was listening to my music, and of course I was smoking, and I could not swallow for nothing. I felt like everything in me was closing up, and I just remember it's a busy highway going this way, and I remember just crossing the red light. I didn't care, I had to move. And so that began to have me having fear of being in a car for some reason. Like if I'm on the highway, back roads was fine for me for a while, but definitely just being in the car and driving was an issue for me. So when I went to work, I was telling my coworkers about what happened, and someone mentioned anxiety. I'm like, I don't know what that is, and even though she tried to explain it to me, I still didn't know what it was. So the next day I made a doctor's appointment, was confirmed that I have anxiety, generalized anxiety, and he put me on medication, and unfortunately that was something that put me down for 2 months. I did not eat, nor did I leave my bed for 2 months. One day I just got the strength to just get up and just started crying out to God and just asking God to help me. At the time, I was dating this guy, and I have a story time on him. If you go back and check out the video that's titled, I think it's his wife found out, because he was married, okay, and I didn't know. My boyfriend at the time, and he was supposed to be an ordained minister, so he would talk to me, pray with me, all this good stuff that I needed in my life. So being that I didn't know too much about anxiety, I just want to get through it. So my brother friend, his best friend, she came over and she's like, hey, we're gonna go to the end of the road. We're gonna stand there as long as you can, okay? And we're gonna come back home. I said, okay. So I actually stood out there for 30 minutes straight with no issues. I mean, I had my little moments, but I was cool. So moving past that, I ended up basically getting better. As long as I wasn't driving, I was okay for a while. But I would start traveling. I was, Orlando, which is an hour and some change away, Tampa, Kissimmee, all those places around me was like literally like an hour plus. And I would go to these places and with no problem. And I started back working. And then once I started back working, get my confidence back, I started back driving on my own, but I would only take the back. Past that, I was working for 3 years and then I lost my job because it was my fault. But I lost my job and I ended up getting depressed. And then I was in the house depressed, anxious, panicky for 5 years. Well, not the entire 5 years, but like the first year, I was very anxious, panicky, all these things. I did not get on medication, not any of those 5 years whatsoever. So I basically got through it with no medication, just prayer and a good friend who was also going through it. So we was each other's support system because I did lose all my friends. No one came by. No one called me, just this one particular person, and I was always home alone. Even I felt like my family didn't understand. You're going through a situation that you clearly don't know too much about. You don't understand yourself. You don't even know why you're even going through this and what's causing it. And then the people that you expect to be there for you are basically talking about you and making you feel worse than what you are. So she meant a lot to me, being that she was the only one that understood. So as the 5 years went on, I started hanging with this other girl who she didn't quite understand, but she was a little bit more encouraging. And it was more like tough love in a sense. And I will hang at her house, so that will get me away from the house. And I was doing that for like a year and a half. And then finally my mom just came home one day and she's like, hey, do you want a job? And I said, you know what? I'm gonna just start saying yes. If I start telling myself I can do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm going to do it, okay? The thing was, I would have to go to another town to do my background check, which was the scary part about it. Left off my street because the girl I was hanging with, she lived literally like 4 houses down. So that was the furthest I went from my house. And so I'm like, I have to travel. And that was scary, but I kept telling myself, like, Jesus is in front of me. He's looking at me right now, telling me to keep coming. Come on, you can do it. So when we left the house, I felt anxious, panicky, but my mom, she was just like, she wasn't having it. She didn't pay me no attention. So I wasn't getting no help over there. And we listened to Joel Osteen the whole entire way. And Joel Osteen is amazing when it comes to motivational encouragement. So if you're looking for some type of encouragement, definitely check out Joel Osteen because he is it, okay? Him and TD Jakes is more of like tough love, whereas to me Joel Osteen is like comforting. Not saying TD Jakes ain't comforting, but you could tell the difference in their speeches. And I was excited because I made it, and I wasn't thinking about having to come back home. I was just so excited I finally left my town. I finally left my street. And so me and my mom had a good day that day. We went shopping and everything, and I missed all that. So I started working like maybe a week later, and the job was like 5-10 minutes, not even 10 minutes, about 5 to 6 minutes up the road. And what made it comfortable for me was because it was next door to the hospital. So that's what made it a little bit more comfortable, because sometimes it would just be me and the security guard. That the job that I was working at, they weren't having it. So I ended up getting a job in another department. They didn't like it, so they gave me a hard time about transferring. And the thing is, I don't know what I ever did to them. And that was the thing. So that made me anxious too, because I've always been a people pleaser. And that's another thing about anxiety. You can't please people. You just have to get to the point and just know that you have to do what's best for you to make you feel comfortable, because you're always going to have a problem with somebody. It's going to always be somebody who's not going to like what you do, what you say, how you look, how you move, how you walk, how you talk. It's going to always be somebody who's going to have something to say about your life. So I always felt like I had to make other people happy, even if it was taking a lot from myself, and I was this much happy. This job at the college, everything was going great for the first 2.5 years. Then I ended up losing this job, which I touched bases on in one of my videos when I said I lost my job. I didn't give a full detailed video about it because I was still hurt from it, but I will do a detailed video about that later. But I ended up I still was moving because I was in school, so that's the only thing that kept me moving. But after a while, last year, 2018, beginning of 2018, everything came crashing down for me. It hit me very hard to the point where my anxiety was at the worst of the worst. Like, I have never experienced it in that magnitude. So it was like I would never get out of bed. I was sweating all the time. Trying to leave was hard because I would have that lump in my throat that I felt like was trying to kill me. I would be crying all day constantly. All I had was just me and God. Like, I had friends, but I couldn't depend on them so much. And again, some of them was fresh in my life, so they didn't know what anxiety was. They didn't know how to help me, you know, so I wasn't faulting them for not being around. So I remember one particular day I was going through it so bad. I was home by myself and I said I needed someone to talk to, and so I called my friend, my best friend, and she just was no help at all. And so I said, you know what, I'm gonna go on Facebook. The first person I see, I don't care who it is, period. I don't care if it was a person that's from Africa. I don't care. I was going to reach out to them, and that's what I did. It ended up being one of my classmates, and she was there for me because she knew how I felt because she was once there, and she has been here since then, and she's helped me in so many ways. Friend Michelle, she's been amazing help for me too, and you know, I just feel like I don't want to keep putting my burden on people. The thing is, when you are dealing with someone who is having anxiety, panic attacks, just depressed, period, the most comforting thing is to know that you have somebody to call on if you have to. And just knowing that somebody cares about what you're going through. Even if they don't understand it, they care. And that's the only thing that helps. I don't say the only thing, but that's one of the things that help you get through it and cope with it and find ways. Like, therapy was cool for me, but it was like I was only going once. That was going to help me even if I kept going because it was once a month. I needed something consistent. So I found healing and help in church. Now, I'm not where I want to be, and I'm definitely not where I should be, but I've learned to stop thinking ahead. I've learned to stop thinking about where I should be, you know, because that was a big hindrance for me too. I'm like, I'm 30 something years old. I don't have a family of my own. Don't have this, don't have that, but it's okay. Like, all those things are going to come in due time. So don't rush the future. Just try to make it through the day, you know. Whenever you feel anxious, tell yourself, I'm not going to subject myself to this feeling. Whatever I'm feeling, I'm not going to give in to that feeling. It's nothing going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to me. I've been panicking for so many years and nothing never happened. It's just that my heart rate is up. Find a way to calm that down and just go on about your business. Don't even ponder on it, or nothing is going to happen. If you need to get on medication, you do that. For me, medication was and is not now an option. I tried it. It didn't work for me. The medication I had when I first went through it, I don't know what that was, and the doctor I was going to, he's no longer in practice, so I don't know what it was, but that's what I need, okay? But it was just like, I'm just trying to get through it with Christ, you know. But if you need medication, therapy, whatever it is that you know you need, don't deny it. Don't think you can do it on your own if you feel like you can't. You know what I'm saying? But you really can't. But those who are with somebody or know somebody who's going through anxiety, I'm telling you, just be their comfort zone. Be comfort for them. It's okay to show tough love, but still be considerate of their feelings and what they're going through, because we would hate to be around people who's in that X, Y, and Z. No. Comforting somebody is telling them it's going to be okay. I am here. I find comfort in a hug. I find comfort in allow me to cry on your shoulder. Allow me to talk to you about my feelings and not let it be dismissed. You know, that's confident. Just knowing if I do choose to step outside the house and go a little bit further that day, at least I know I got somebody that has my back and not going to judge me. Because sometimes when you're going through anxiety, you feel like you're being judged. Like, people think you're crazy. People think you're losing it. And that's why I think a lot of people are just not focusing on the fact that mental health is very, very important, and it's very high in this country. Like, it's so many people stressed out because there's so many things that's going on in this country that make people super stressed. Anxiety comes from just stress. So if you can find people in your life that's going to help you be less stressful, do that. And if that means you have to get rid of some people, get rid of them, because it's your life that's at risk. Don't worry about other people. If they're meant to be in your life, they will come back in a good time, in a good space. You know what I'm saying? But until then, if you gotta get rid of people, get rid of them. You know, because it's you that you have to live for. It's not them. You can't live for other people because they're not going to live for you. Okay. So again, if you're dealing with someone or you know someone who has anxiety, just be comfort for them. Don't talk at them, talk with them. It's so many things that people tend to miss, and then when it's too late, they want to swear up and down they should have did better. Okay, now you know, so do better. I'm through make that video that, you know, I have been dealing with anxiety for a while, and that's part reason why I don't make many videos as I want to, because I have my good days and my bad days. And you know, it does play in my procrastination. You know, I'm depressed somewhat. I eat my feelings, so I've gained a lot of weight, so that made me even more depressed and anxious as well, because whenever I'm smaller, I'm less anxious for some reason. So anxiety is triggered too also by the foods that you eat, and so in the environment you're around. So definitely be mindful of stuff like that. So thank you guys for checking out my video, and don't forget to subscribe and like and comment and share this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.